I assume you are watching this video because you want to do a tour of Quebec and you want some information about it. So this is July 2025, so that's about as current as this video is. And let me get on with things I can tell you. Best time to go? I mean, right now it's beautiful. Just, it's like 72 degrees out and a little chilly in the morning. But when I was out there just a couple days ago, I was getting pretty beat up by the heat. So I'd say generally, if you go from mid-May to the beginning of July, and then maybe mid-September to the end of October would be good months. But you might want to check about, see how the bugs are. But weather is weather, and so just make your plan and go with it. Probably don't go in the middle of August, July and August. It can get pretty hot. And then how are you going to get to Quebec? Where will you start your tour? I only start my tours in Burlington, just because there's a bike ride from Burlington up to the border that is just amazing, and so I don't ever want to miss that. I just happened to find that my first trip. So I start in Burlington. You can find some other thing to do. If you do start in Burlington, you can just you can drive, and there is a place just a quarter mile from the airport that will charge, is the cheapest place. You can look up parking on Google, and it's about $10 a day. Store your car for $10 a day, nice and secure. And you can also fly in with your bike on the plane, put it together. The airport's really small. You can ride your bike right out of there. There's no traffic. You can do also, I've done this, is I've flown my bike box to the hotel, and they were kind enough to keep the box for the return. When I returned, I stayed at the hotel, so good for them. So anyway, if you're gonna come in another place to start your tour, I don't really know. I'm sticking with Burlington. When you do cross the border, it's pretty easy. They do ask you, where are you going? Why are you going to be there? These are the Canadians. How long are you going to be there? What places are you going to go to see, or whatever? And I'm always pretty vague because I never know really what I'm going to do. I don't make plans. I don't make reservations at hotels or anything. I just do that the same day. If it's a weekend, I'll maybe make a day out reservation. But in the camping, you don't need reservations. So the border will ask you that. I never bring any weed. It's not worth it. They have weed in Canada that's cheap and available, so just don't even bother. Coming into the States, they're really easy. It's easier than Canada. They're just like, hey, how you doing? Where'd you go? Boom, 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 and you're in. I've never had a problem. I don't bring weed either. So now your other decision, you want to camp, or do you want to use a hotel? Or do you want to, which we call that credit card camping. And my first 3 tours, these are my tours I've done here. I've done about 7 here. Boop, boop. And I used to just do hotels, but I started camping. And camping gives you lots of options, because you can just go further distances or less, and you can hang out in the nice national parks. You don't need reservations, so there's something really nice about camping. It's simple and it's cheap. But the hotel thing is great. If you're gonna do just hotels, you can carry. You don't have to carry the kitchen. You don't have to carry your tent or your all that camping stuff. So you can go faster and lighter. So it's up to you. If you camp, you also have to deal with those raccoons, and mosquitoes and things. But I still like camping. It's something magical about it. Now, the type of bike that you use, you can pretty much use anything. You could use a mountain bike. You could use a touring bike. 26-inch, 700 rims. The paths are half, I'd say at least half asphalt, just roads and asphalt paths. The other half is the crushed rock. So you could run 25s and make it. That's the thickness. I would stay with probably like 28, 28 or above, because it can get kind of crunchy and soft sometimes. And if it's wet, I'd stick with the wider tire. You don't need shocks. I would just say don't bring a bike with shocks. You should bring fenders, because that crushed rock, when it's wet, it can get flung into your drivetrain and just build up in there, and then you'll stop. It's just, and fenders just keep all that stuff from getting into your drivetrain. The water, you can go through puddles. So yeah, it's nice to have fenders. But most important thing is your bike has, good tires on it. You've tuned it up. It's got good brakes. You do not want to go to the Tour bike shop here, because you're going to be out in a lot of remote places. So make sure your bike is in good order before you go out touring around in Quebec. All right, it's not very hilly, but there are some hills that'll get you. There's some hills I was walking up, plenty of hills, but in general, it's a pretty easy flat tour. It's not like the West Coast. It's pretty easy and flat. So now you can choose to go into the countryside, or you can go into like Quebec City and Montreal. You can go to the cities. You go out to Mont Tremblant, which is like this path that is an old train track, Le Petit Train du Nord, which has been turned into a rail trail, and that's just like hundreds of miles or whatever up into the mountains, and then you can turn around and come back. You can actually, there's someone that will take your bike and your luggage, and it will take that to the beginning of the course in Mont Tremblant, and they will disperse your luggage every evening to the hotel you're staying at. So that's serious credit card camping. You don't have to do anything. So I kind of like to do, I've seen the cities, and it's nice to see both of the big cities there, but I kind of like to just hang out in the smaller towns, because it's easier, and I don't have to go over giant bridges and deal with traffic, and so that's how it is. As far as prices, you're going to get taxed 15% in Quebec on everything. That's their whatever national tax, or I don't know what it is, but so you're going to get some money because the dollar is stronger, but then that gets cut into a bit with the 15%. But wherever you're from, you're probably going to get cut in with your state sales tax, 7, 6, 7, 8%. So, but you're not, and things are expensive in Quebec. So don't, make sure when you get to Quebec, you've already got all your tubes and don't go there, say I'll buy the stuff there, because you're going to pay more money. Change your money at your bank, or in Burlington, they have the money right there. If you do your bank, wherever it is, it may take a couple days to get the money in. But Burlington, you can change it well, I guess it'd have to be your bank. So yeah, get your money changed before you go over the border. As far as speaking French, if you're a fluid French speaker, you're not really gonna have any problems. Especially Montreal and Quebec, everybody speaks English and French. But even if you're a fluent French speaker, their French is a little nasally and weird. And if you're not fluent, if you're just like me and I speak okay French, they're gonna confuse you with that fast talking nasal wow 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 wow, and you're just gonna be like, oh Lord, I have to translate it in from Quebec French to English, and then you get the blank stare on the person. So they're looking at like, what are you doing? You don't, and then they say, do you speak English? You want me to speak English? I'm like, okay. Sometimes they will not switch back. They don't speak English. So, mostly when you get out to the eastern townships away from the cities, they don't have any need. There's no need for them to speak English out there. So they don't want to speak English. The locals are all nice. I never had any problem with them. Every tour I've been on, never had a problem with them. They're not like super friendly, but they're not unfriendly. They're just normal people. Um, Everything's clean there. I just don't see any homeless. I don't see. It's neat and it's organized. The routes are just super great. There's no traffic. There's no cars that are gonna get you because they separate you all the time. So if you hate cars, this is your tour right here. Okay, this is the tour for you. You know, you do have a lot of farms and beautiful, you know, pastoral scenes and rivers and stuff. So it's not like you're seeing tons of artwork or museums, but you're gonna get in shape uh, and just have fun. So that's about it for the tour. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section. If you would please give me a like and subscribe if you want the latest information on a tour that I'm going to be doing, which I haven't even thought about yet, but I'm sure I've got one coming up. Thank you.